Hi, welcome back to What is Up with Mental Health and Everything Else. I am Latavia Balmer. I will be your host tonight, and of course, I am here with personal counselor Brandon Sherd, and we are introducing you to part two of biases in minority communities. What is identity?
Right. What is identity? And how, with this topic, it's racial biases, systemic biases, and how they influence our identity. What have we learned from our experiences that then has an influence on who we are today, whether good, whether bad, somewhere in between. And there's a lot to say about, systemic racial biases that then affect us.
Yes.
And a lot of it too can be quite subconscious
Yeah.
or unconscious. And we're not always aware of it. And that's why we want to bring that to the table today.
Yes, that's what this episode is about, to get you to start thinking about your own biases and the biases that are against you within people who share the same resources and
Yeah.
same things that you experience, same struggles, and the ones that don't have the same struggles as you or don't even understand what it's like to be a part of what you are a part of, whether it's the Black community, the Latinx community, Indian community, whatever the case may be, they still have biases towards you. So this episode and our last episode was to get you to start thinking about these types of things, and now we're just going to discuss experiences and how biases contribute to
Yeah.
how we feel within ourselves and those around us.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. So, it's that's the topic, right? But, let's try to bring it more closer to home. Like, okay, that's what we were talking about. But what does that really mean? What is an example of a bias that may exist within us that influences our identity that we may not be aware of, right? The first one that comes to mind, and I'll do one that could negatively impact minority cultures. One that I think of often is the sense of, like, let's say, like, hood mentality, right? And what do I mean by that? Well, for sure, with hood mentality, that comes from a place of, like, survival mode. It's hard body. It's, sleep with one eye open kind of sentiments. That is, I need to protect myself. It is survival mode. Like, something could be out to get us.
That is what hood mentality
You know what
is.
I
Yes.
mean? You know, it's the impact of poverty. It's the impact of, you know, a lot of people in a small space and not having enough in your environment to feel free and really truly at home.
Feel packed.
Yeah. Yeah. And, what has come of that? You know, what has that kind of brought to the table for minority groups? One can say, in this sense of survival mode, which we will talk a lot about that too, there is this sense of, you know, frustration,
Yeah.
hostility. I need this because I'm in survival mode. And because whether it be, I don't have enough money and I don't know how I'm going to eat for the rest of the week, that could be an impact or an attitude, if you will. Or, you know, because of money, a lot of it comes from poverty, is the lights are going to stay on? Is our water going to get cut off? There's this things that we need for our basic needs that are up in question.
Is it a sociologist?
What is that?
Like the worry about the basic needs that develop this hood mentality is really just based off of, like, sociology. That's
Hmm.
the word,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Of
I'm
course, of
probably,
course.
probably,
Yes,
probably
you
me.
got this.
Like,
You got this. Go
yeah,
ahead.
because like as soon as you start to go down the list of like, oh, the lights, the food, the things, the thing that just popped up in my mind is the hierarchy of sociology
Yeah, yeah,
needs.
yeah, yeah.
What was
Maslow's.
the
Yeah,
yes,
yeah, yep.
Maslow, right?
Yep, hierarchy
Definitely,
of needs.
yes.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So
And for to explain what that is, um, a psychologist, his last name was Maslow. He created a pyramid of sorts that addressed the needs of an individual, and you have to have the most primary needs met, which is that of food and shelter and access to clean environments, if you will, to then go up the pyramid and have access to other needs that a person needs, like, needs to socialize with others.
yes, now that I think about it, I feel as though our this episode will literally like climb up that pyramid
Yep.
because you
Hmm.
start with the basic needs, then you get into the self esteem, and then the
Yes.
achievements, and then
Yes.
so
Yes.
forth and so on. And I feel like this episode is literally using the
Yeah.
pyramid.
I mean,
So
absolutely, because that's where, I mean, it all starts there. It all starts with our basic needs. And that's the thing, in minority cultures, basic needs has not always been promised. It's been a real, it can really be a struggle
yes,
to know where your next meal is coming from. Or, am I going to have housing? You know, or, from a child's perspective, parents, are they going to be together, or are they going to be there to then take care of me? We don't think about that when we're younger,
yeah,
but
no,
you can feel that impact. Or even on the flip side, like, is what mom's doing by herself enough? And it all kind of comes into play of what our basic needs are, and if we're going to be able to meet them. And when that is not promised, our sense of self can, and things that we believe about the world can really start to change. And it works within that system of, like, cultural bias, because this is the impact of poverty, if you will. It was just something that minority groups have definitely experienced quite a bit.
definitely quite a bit, like for a long, long time. So it does contribute to this development of, if no one's gonna do it, I have to do it. If no one has me, I have myself.
Yes,
So then this is
yes,
also where the hood mentality come in
yes,
at,
yes.
especially if you were raised in the hood or anything of that nature. You start to look at your environment, and you're like, oh, everyone's out to get, I mean, everyone's out for themselves. So I really don't have much to look on because my family dynamic is struggling. I have to, my mom is working overtime to make sure that there's a roof over our head, there's food on our table, and clothes on our back. So if I can't go to my mother because she's always busy trying to give us the basic needs, then I have to like survive out in these streets by myself.
Right.
And then they start to learn these survival tactics in the
That's,
hood,
there you go.
And I was like, all right, this is what you learn. Now you teaching me. This is how it's to be. This
Right.
is this is life. This is life as I know it now.
Yes, yes. Starting early, starting very early, and it's the grind of it. It's a struggle in a sense where we have no time for fun. We have no time for games. Like, we got
Things to
things to
do.
do.
Yeah.
Life or death things to do.
Literally.
You see how intensified that is. And it creates a cold, harsh reality that is so ingrained into the person, and it carries along with us, even if situations change around you. like that could have been something that has been experienced in the beginning, and then life goes on, and you made it, right? You make it, you grind, you make it, good, good. Then you kind of get into a situation where it doesn't have to be that hard, I say, like, moving to campus, living on
Yeah.
campus a little bit.
The saying, you could take the girl out the country, but you can't take the country out the girl. It's literally like, you could take me out the hood, but the hood is always in me.
Yeah.
So in everything that I do, I'm going to think this way. I'm going to think somebody's out to get me. I'm going to think, Lord, I got to get ahead so I could be, get this, do that. So yeah,
Yeah.
you bring it everywhere you go, and it's hard to like just check out and be like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm no longer in the hood. I don't have to be so on the fence. Like, I could relax, I could let go. Like, everybody here is probably trying to help me to accomplish my goal of being better. So
Yeah, but then like, it's hard to kind of recognize that that people might be trying to, well, like you say, people are trying to help me. What the heck is help me?
Yeah.
I've never been through something like that before. I had to help myself.
yeah, I'm like,
You
I
know
got it
what I
out the
mean?
mud. So can no, and then that's the thing, like when someone is like so into it, so deep into doing it all by themselves, when someone comes in and tell them like, this is not how you're supposed to do it, you're supposed to do it better, they will look at them like, how are you going to tell me what to do? I've been doing this for so long and I'm good. I made it out alive thus far. You can't tell me what to do. You have to think back. That's also how it is in a lot of classrooms. A lot of the time, and then a lot of students, they're like, you know what, I've been doing so good so far, and I come here and you telling me what I need to do. I need to be on a straight schedule.
Yeah,
I have to
yeah.
do this. I have to do that. I'm not for it. So they start saying school is not for me because they don't like the dynamic of the, responsibilities, maybe.
That playing by a different rule book, if you
Exactly.
will.
Yeah.
It's you're focusing on a different element of life now, where it's still brand new, totally brand new. And there's a lot of demand. There's a
Yeah.
lot of, you have to do this, and
It has to be a certain way to
yeah,
do
yes,
it.
yes, there's a proper etiquette to doing so, and it's like, what are you even talking
Yeah,
about?
like
Like,
I'm not used to this.
right?
I've been thugging for so long that I don't. You coming in with your own rules and you just try to tell me how to live my life. This not for me, and they leave it alone. And that's that hood mentality. Like sometimes you just gotta realize like you don't even have to do all of that, But it's rooted so deep
Yeah,
because of, like you said, poverty,
yeah,
money, just all these things that's in our own communities that we just overlook, and we don't understand how it affects us
right,
in ways that we just
right.
like, nah, that's
Yeah,
just who I am,
and the, like, in the mental health field, a lot of this can be, like, spoken about in the lens of how trauma impacts us. And I'm not talking about trauma in the sense where, like, you experience, like, oh, you get into a car accident. Granted, that
affect your
can be
mental health.
something
Yeah.
significant enough to then change the way you start to think about things in lieu of that negative experience. But I'm talking about, the word is trauma, but it's just like not having the basic needs being able to be met all the time. Like, really having that, almost not paranoia, but concern that,
Something's gonna happen.
yeah, yeah. And you know what? I mean, that's maybe even on the easiest of levels where, this is just food. Okay, maybe I don't have to eat tonight, but I can eat tomorrow. Okay. But then also part of it is like, there's violence, like, there might be people that knew one day who's not there the next
Yeah, and
day.
getting enemies the next day, and it's
Uh-huh.
like,
Yeah, or that too. Yeah, and it switch up on you like that. And then what comes? Don't trust nobody.
exactly,
You know what? You know what I
exactly.
mean? You're then making it like, now you get into a situation where you're at school and, like, people are helpful, but helpful, like, What
Everybody turned on me. Everybody switch up
I don't
sooner or
believe the
later.
hype. Don't
Yeah.
believe, yeah, because it's one, you know, the body will remember things that has happened to it, especially things that cause pain or some type of distress.
Yes.
And it will figure out a way to then never experience that again. And it will work with the mind to then try to be proactive about perceiving things that could bring you harm,
Yeah.
thus stimulating and continue on this like hood mentality, we'll call it still.
So literally, like it's like the body, um, just our minds, like working with our minds, we automatically put up these walls, like these
Yes.
blockers, and
Yep.
it's like coping mechanisms.
We don't want to experience anything that's been harmful to us more than we have to, especially if there's no foreseeable purpose of putting ourselves through it, right? And because like let's say you go to the gym, it's going to be hard, but there's a result that you're looking for, right? But what was the result of you know your best friend getting shot?
Yeah,
You
like
know, or
it's
what was the
nothing.
result of not knowing daily what were you going to eat, or seeing abuse in the household, or you know things that in our culture or like in our upbringing happens, and it creates this mindset that you got to watch out and protect yourself. These are and now see how this starts to influence like our thinking, and it perhaps it had a place where you were, but if you are able to make it out of that situation, and I feel like by the time if you live on campus or you have access to on campus resources, you get into a new world in a new space, and it's like two worlds colliding of sorts. And how do you? What is this new vibe here? What do you do with it? Does the hood mentality exist here? Honestly, now you have. This is where you start thinking about. Well, are some of the things that I've learned at a survival mode useful or productive here in a new environment that is helpful, or that is supposed to be helpful?
Yeah.
Is helpful.
Before I didn't think about this until recently, just now. Um, you say coming into a new environment, you start to think to yourself like, is this mentality helpful for me? Right? Is this acceptable? Or like, does it belong here? Then it got me to think like, who are we to say what shouldn't be allowed in a different like another environment? So
Okay.
now I'm thinking about the argument side of what we're discussing.
Yes.
Like college is supposed to be deemed prestigious. You're not supposed to act like this. You're not supposed to do this and that and the third. And then here you come with this hood mentality, and it's looked upon because like you're not supposed to be thinking like this. You're not supposed to be moving like this because you're in this new place. So it just started making me think about that side of the
Yeah,
argument.
yeah.
You know,
I mean,
so
and I can definitely, that does create the challenge of, you know, why, like, are you judging me of sorts? What, is there something wrong with me of sorts? Which is not the case. It's the understanding of what you've been through and what you've overcome, honestly, by the time you have made it to school. And then kind of addressing how this plays, how this works for you here in this new environment. Because not to say that everything about it is bad, you know, the amount of resilience that can be found and like hood mentality, you know, by no ends will I give up. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? That is, we can, I will applaud that.
Like,
Like,
yeah, I
that's
gotta
great.
keep going until I get this. Yeah.
You
The
know,
commitment.
yeah, commitment, perseverance. These are natural, these are products of those experiences that can go a long way. It will be needed if you're in school. Um, but then there's other like behaviors or attitudes that come with it that might have been picked up from the experience, where it's like if you feel slighted by something, instantly jump to I'm gonna cuss this.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to say the rest of it, but
Yeah.
like whether it be defensivefulness or straight up like we can take this outside. And well, I can understand like the emotion that has been created if you feel slighted by something or like situation happen. But now we have to think about, is this action within the code of conduct, right? And is that how we are going to resolve issues here at school or in your professional life?
Oh yeah, definitely. You gotta start
Because
thinking professionalism
yeah,
and your like the way you just move. You just gotta start thinking like, okay, it got me this far, but when can I just think? Take the time to think like this. It's a whole lot of
oh
that.
yeah, it's totally it's challenging. Because what I was saying before is like it's either subconscious or unconscious.
Yeah.
You may not even know that it happened until it did or afterwards. Like, I mean, because when you're like living in survival mode, I mean, you become hyper vigilant
Oh yeah.
of, you know, vibes, right? You become like
Like watch
almost
out.
paranoid
Yeah,
about
like
like,
watch out. He moving weird.
and then let somebody look at you the wrong way more than once.
Oh yeah.
Let a professor do it.
Ooh.
That
Students.
professor don't like me.
Yeah, students don't like that.
And it's
Ooh.
not, and that's the thing. It's not even. Perhaps it wasn't the professor thinking ill of you, but something about the way he or she looked and the way you received it,
Yeah, just
it took you right there. It's
Yeah.
an automatic thing.
You see how our environment just structure us, like
Yeah.
just build us into how we think, how we behave. And it's just like, dang, dang.
Yeah. And getting back to like systemic like things that we go through, you know, it's it's not right. I pray for a better environments and better situations for all. Unfortunately, the reality is that yeah, we our minority groups definitely live and survive here, thrive sometimes here, and these are just byproducts, whether good or like some of the bad byproducts of the experience. And you know, you can't help what you started with, but we can definitely learn new skills and new habits that get us out of it and move us so far forward that we can get back and make sure that nobody else has to go through it, or that you never have to go back, whatever you want to do with it. But, you know, it's not it's not a lost cause. I think is what I'm trying to say
Okay.
at the end of it. It's not
Yeah.
a lost cause.
I think that the more we as a collective get people to understand that you don't always have to act like that, or just learn different skills in the process of getting out of it, we can lessen the poverty rate,
Yeah.
because the more we give back, the more we each one teach one.
Yes. Yes.
So
Yes.
the more we do that, we rise that up. So therefore, poverty won't even be bias in anything that a person who has lived in a poverty community will have to experience,
Yeah.
because it
Yeah.
no longer exists. So if you take away that, you take away that bias.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that is something that we should actually start to think about. Like,
As we continue to make it to better opportunities, we then have the opportunity to make it easier for the next person coming up to give back, to then undo this cycle or undo these systems that sometimes can do real damage, like some real damage. And it just, because, we're only human. And, you know, we just want what's best. We
yes.
want what makes us happy. We want our basic needs met, right? We just want to be here, I believe, to enjoy the pleasures of life, the good things of life.
Yeah.
And poverty really gets in the way of that.
Yes. Even though we're speaking about poverty, we're also speaking about the hood mentality, and we're also speaking about bias. And it started like, as we're, advancing this conversation, I feel like another bias that also is that falls into this hood mentality, and also about who I am, like what is identity
Yeah.
within bias, names. Because like I feel like people who have a unique name or a different name that you wouldn't expect, automatically people deem you like,
I see.
because like, although poverty, like if you're coming from a poor rated community, you can't get into certain institutions, or you can't get a certain job. But also, if you think about it, if you have a name, say you aren't like in that community,
Okay.
you live way above these means, but on your resume you have a name that people won't even act like they can't pronounce, or just this name is just not acceptable. They start to deem you unworthy, and that is a bias.
Yes,
And
it
then
is. Yes, it is.
it's like not even in the workplace, you have it in society too. So like they have skits about some with people with unique names, and then
Yes.
they're like, oh, you're ghetto, you're loud, you're immature, this, that, and the third. And it's like, that is not right to do.
Yeah, it's like, you haven't even met me yet. What are you
Right,
talking
exactly.
about?
Like, and then that's the whole thing about identity, because when too many people are saying no, 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 and then you like, whoa, something's wrong with me now. Like, why and your name?
It's just you're right. We're just
Yeah,
going off your name.
your name is literally your identity. Who you are. Like when someone says, "Who are you?" You'd be like, "My name's Latavia." This, that, and third. And then as soon as you introduce yourself with this name, they go, "Oh, this is who you are." And that's like a whole thing in itself. About now, I gotta look at myself like I have this name that people don't appreciate or don't like, and now it just makes me think like, am I even worthy of all the things that I want to do now? So I was just thinking about that, because it goes into that though.
It does. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. Like, I mean, that's an excellent point. Where one's name can then it gives the impression to others about who this person might be,
Yes.
right? But it's like you haven't met me, you haven't even seen me, you're just judging me off of
That first title of the
yeah.
paper, you don't even you didn't haven't even read the qualifications that I have. Like I fit this criteria,
Yeah.
but because you just see my name, you like throw it away. And
Yeah.
I've seen that a lot, like up close. I've seen that a lot, and I'm like, wow,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
wow.
Yeah, and you know, it's the name doesn't matter to the things that I have, everything else that I can present to you on my resume, um, in a conversation to you with an interview, or just in connection with you. I'm more than just what my name is on paper or what have you. And it's a bias that does need to be addressed,
Yes.
like to the world at large, where you know that's my name, yes,
Like
but
get
there's
over
there's
it.
more to me than that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, and get over it.
exactly like I was born with this name. Like I can't do nothing with the name my parents gave me,
Yeah, yeah.
but be a good person. If you're just looking at this name to determine who I am, something's wrong with you.
Yeah, yeah,
Because
there you go.
clearly you don't have no sense to get to know someone.
Yeah.
Have the common decency of just being genuine. Like what? And I just had to get that off my
I got
chest
you.
because it's like a lot of it happens. And we even do it to ourselves. We're like on social media. If you're talking about a guy, right, and his name is probably like Tyrone or what's the famous J name? Because we hate the J's, but we really don't hate the J's. It's just social media. But yes, say you have a certain name, people like, oh, cheater.
Yeah, they
Oh,
got so many
broke.
associations with
Oh
it.
yes, and it's just like, are you serious? Because his name's like what?
Better believe it. I mean, it is how things have been. It's how it goes. And then one can like live their whole life trying to either live up to the name, right, or then do the complete opposite of what the stereotype of the name is.
Yeah. You know how many oh my god, and a lot of people like growing up because they get so much hatred or something for their name, they either grow up to change it and just change their whole entire identity. And it's like that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's like really, really big and it needs to be addressed.
Yeah.
Like
It's it's an incredible the impressions just a person's name can
yeah.
give. My mother named me Brandon. I don't know. For the simple fact she named me Brandon because my dad's name started with a B. So my dad's name started with a B. My brother's name, older brother, his name starts with a B.
Oh, keeping the bees,
Right? And then her name
Benjamin.
that's the name. And my mom's name, hers started with an A, and then my sister's name starts with an A.
Oh.
And then that's it. That was the logic behind why my name is Brandon because it started with a B.
Yeah. Okay.
And it can be something so like simple or easy like that for other people, but for that reason, if then the name is something unique, let's say, then it can now come with all these other impressions on it. And it's like that didn't even match why my name is what it is in the first place.
Yeah.
So don't do that.
Exactly. People are just crazy.
Yeah, it's like don't do that.
Yeah, it's a big thing in shaping who you are or who you think you are or who you think you should be, and it creates this whole dilemma within yourself.
Yeah.
So like your environment really shapes who you are. So you gotta be careful with how you treat people, and you also gotta be mindful of the biases that's around the world, because you may be contributing to them mindfully or like consciously or
Hmm.
unconsciously. So this is literally what we're trying to address in a manner. Like, these are the biases that's here, and these are how we as individuals or as a whole collective contribute to them. But there are also ways to not do these
Hmm.
types of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just, we talk about, and mental health counseling, we talk a lot about person centeredness, um, our person centered approaches, right? Where literally you, with an open mind, with no judgment, are taking the person for who they are and what they show you. You're not bringing in all these assumptions and interpretations of who they might be before you even meet them. Like, oh, here's the name. Oh, yeah, here we go. It's going to be this. It's going to be that.
Yeah.
No, we're not doing that. We are waiting to meet the person, and we'll base our interactions based off that scenario, based off of the exchange. And there's more to person centeredness. You know, looking at strengths and other positive aspects of a person. But you just don't be judgmental. Is the essence of what
Definitely.
being person centered is. Accept the person for who they are and what they find in life to be interesting. And you know, it's a great way to exchange with somebody, and build conversations and build bonds. Um, that's like a good way to negate biases that you might have towards other people or even towards yourself.
Ooh, let's talk about that. Like, biases towards yourself.
Hey, mm-hmm.
Like, let's get into
Yeah,
that.
yeah, no, let's do it. So, biases towards yourself. I mean, like, man, so with enough experiences of hardship or negativity towards you because maybe your name or you've seen a lot of negative things happen in your life. Um, a bias then that you can develop is like, no matter what I do, it's always going to end up bad in the end. You know, well, that's like also like an attitude that one can kind of develop within themselves. That then we have to look at, is this positive or is this negative? Like, is this going to be a beneficial attitude towards what I want to do or accomplish, or is this not going to bring me any good? Um, you got a
Um,
bias that people have towards themselves.
I was literally just thinking about my own biases because I'm like, dang, got biases towards ourselves. Let me think
Mm.
about the biases I have against me. Like, what are my own biases? Then I start to think, like, we're talking about community, and I would say, like, I've developed a bias about where I'm from,
Mm.
and I'm like, no,
I
you
kind of
know,
want to know what this bias is, y'all.
like, so I feel like, I don't know, maybe I'm projecting in a sense. So whenever I tell people where I'm from, I feel like they're like, they will have this assumption of me because of my background.
I see.
So I
Okay.
try to not present myself in that way,
Mm-hmm.
so they won't assume that I'm from this place. So
I
when I
see.
actually
Okay.
say, yeah, this is where I'm from, I expect them, really? This is that you don't
Mm-hmm.
seem so. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like that is a bias that I have towards myself. So I act like accordingly. That's not giving off that impression. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we all have biases, but like, that just made me start to think about all the biases we have against ourselves, because it's easy to point out the biases that other people have against us,
Yeah.
but our own,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. That's a good one. Because you like didn't want to fall into a certain
Yeah.
category. Um, you just wanted to present yourself as who you are.
Mm-hmm.
No, never mind
Yeah.
all that other stuff that comes with, whether it be from your heritage
Mm-hmm.
or um, sometimes it can be family last name for all I know.
Oh
You
yes,
know what I
I have an experience
mean?
with the family last name bias
hmm
because oh
hmm
my god, growing up, whenever people heard my last name, they'll ask me if I'm related to a certain person. I'm
Okay,
like, no,
yeah.
I'm not. But then the people that I do know and I am related to, they start going crazy about the last name. I'm like, I don't live up to these things. Like
Yeah,
this
like
isn't who
I don't know
I
these people.
am. Like like
Yeah, 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 yeah,
it's
yeah.
a reputation, and I just be like,
Yes.
I don't want this reputation, and it's the same. Like, so now you just
Let-
said last name. I do have a bias against my last name. When I try to like, I go by my no name and my middle name.
Mm,
So also I do love my name Batavia. I had to grow into that.
okay.
But my last name, I'm trying to like have a better reputation for Balmer.
Mm.
But those who know my background and my family, it's a whole thing. And I'm just like, okay, yes, my name is Balmer,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I ain't like them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I hear you because in my family too. Um, some of my like uncles and whatnot, they've talked about like what the shirt name was like in the past,
Mhm.
and well, it is what it is. But like we've that's not the case. Like one it can be as simple as this is just my last name,
Mhm.
right? Um, and now it's becoming. Well, listen, I feel like I've done a good job with the last name, personally speaking.
I'm trying to keep my last name for like being, professional. Like, yeah, have a lot of accolades.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes,
we're not
yes.
down here. So
But and really honestly, it can then work all the positive that you might bring to, let's say, a last name. It could then be looked at, oh, so now you just think you're smarter than everybody.
oh my god, yes. Now you think you're just better than us?
Like, so, do what you gotta do, please.
Oh my god, definitely
and take the
that.
people as the individuals that as they are because, that's what counts. Getting to
Mm-hmm.
know who that person is.
Yeah.
And never mind the associations of anything that they didn't have a choice to be associated with.
Yeah.
Okay.
What I'll say, I just feel like the idea of biases, like, why do we have them, And it all comes back to like maybe what we prefer. Maybe if you think about it, you're like, oh, maybe we prefer this. But because you have a preference, you shouldn't be disrespectful to something that doesn't align with that.
Yes.
You shouldn't have to just disregard someone who's not within your own preference. So I just feel like this whole bias system is like, it makes people feel un what's the word? I want to say unworthy, but I don't know. It just makes people feel overlooked. Just
Okay.
I'm a pass by you because of this, and it's because you have a bias towards these type of people because of something you would want to see, and then it comes. I'm about to get deep, about to
Yeah.
say, then it comes back to your ego,
Yeah.
and then I'm not gonna get too much into that.
We can say that for another episode.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get too much into that because this is about bias within our minority communities and how it shape our identity. So we spoke about poverty. We spoke
Yeah.
about name. We spoke about our some biases towards ourselves. But what are other biases in the minority communities that should be addressed tonight?
Should be adjusted like other biases. Let's see here. I just I'm glad we touched on the ones that we did do because I wanted to hit some of the ones that really do significant damage as we then try to evolve in life. Other ones, honestly, I can't really think of any right now. Did you have some?
I do. I believe that other biases. This isn't really truly just in the minority community. It's in any community, but I feel as though the minority community feels it a lot. Well, these particular individuals feel it a lot. Would be like sexual orientation. That
Okay.
is a bias because it is deemed normal to be, opposite sex attract.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
if you're
Yeah.
attracted to the same sex, now is a bias against you.
Mm-hmm.
It took the LGBTQ community to get rights, especially
Yeah.
marriage
Yeah.
rights.
You're absolutely right.
And
Mm-hmm.
it's like, dang, you know,
Mm-hmm.
that's a bias that is there. Also, our belief, our creed, there's bias in that. Um, a lot of Black people, Hispanic people, Asian people, they're like Christians.
Yeah. Yeah.
But as soon as you start to go into becoming a Muslim, you're looked at like,
Mm-hmm.
what's the
That's
difference?
mm-hmm.
And then,
Mm-hmm.
or say something foreign like Buddhism,
Mm-hmm.
like what? Or just any type of religion or spiritual
Yeah.
aspect. Believing in something that's different,
Yeah. Yeah. That's something that's against the norm,
normal. Yeah.
whatever the norm is, right? If something is so heavily identified within the norm, it's like, well, whoever said that had to be it,
Yeah.
like,
It's like these biases just come like they're constructed based off of who built America.
I feel like that would be also another.
I feel like y'all should have listened to that first episode because we did come at America's neck. I'm not gonna lie to you. We did a little bit.
Yeah, we did.
So yeah, you got us, having biases towards our own people and ourselves. What you got going on? So it's a lot.
Yeah, but I do believe that the more we learn and talk about it, the more it becomes present to everybody who hears the message, and then we can start to think about what just genuinely works for me. Where I'm not forced to believe in a certain pathway or an attitude or what have you. I am going to do what genuinely feels good for me and also what genuinely benefits me and without putting anybody else at harm's risk. So, and that's, you get to a point in life where that is how you then advance and move far into this world. Just developing skills that bring you a positive benefit. Yeah, I know I have said that before, but
Hey, you just gotta keep repeating it so they can hear it.
it's just positive or negative. Honestly, is this you can do something. Another attitude that usually pops up is like, man, that's that white people stuff. There's certain things that different cultures do that okay, that is associated with them. Now, if it's like something that could put them in danger, like I don't know, trying to pet a wild bear. Okay, we go keep that in that lane.
That's a little bit too much. But
Yeah.
anything else that's just like, what an individual enjoys or likes is like, it's a bias towards it because, like you said, white people stuff or anything else, like that's a whole. That's also a bias, strictly.
Yes,
and,
I finally thought of one. Right?
Like, oh, you read books every day? You want to go jump off a cliff into a waterfall just be fun, not for nothing else.
It's for fun.
For fun.
It can be fun.
Yeah. Or you want to go.
They also talk about skydiving.
Yes, I love skydiving. I want to do it.
Yeah, do it.
I want to do it, and I'm gonna do it. Though.
Do it.
Yeah,
Do it.
I'm definitely gonna do it. But it's like it's everywhere, literally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you can just think of it in a more objective standpoint, and that's it. You can look at the risk of doing something. You can make your pros and cons list as to why you want to do it and what you might have to, the good and the bad sides of it. If the good outweigh the bad, then hey, is it going to be beneficial to you? Or is it going to potentially hurt you or somebody else? There's an ethical part to it. But you're free to do anything you want to.
Literally, just don't make someone else feel bad for doing the same thing. Like they want to do anything they want to do too. Just don't let what you prefer hinder them from doing what they prefer. And that's literally what biases are for. Like that is literally what biases do to other people. So it was like, maybe we should just stop it. If we really want to be better people, we should just stop that.
Stop it. And show more love.
Yes,
be
love.
More open-minded. I mean,
yes.
It may not work for you, but if it works for them, then so be it.
Exactly.
Okay? Like, so be it. And just ask questions about it. Have a curious mind to it. Hey, what's that all about?
Like, that's literally how you be open-minded. Like, ask questions instead of just, going straight to...
disregarding it and then casting a judgment on it. Like,
we're
never going to get anywhere that way.
It's just like a reoccurring cycle. Like, you do this, I'm going to do this, and now we're chasing each other.
Yes.
And it's just like, you stop for a moment. Yeah, stop for a moment.
Why live so limited in that thinking?
Yes, because it is very limited. It's very small, too.
Yes.
You're not going to change the world by thinking that little.
Right. And do what works for you with what you enjoy, and allow others to have that same opportunity too. That's all.
Like, just be genuine in everything that you do, and also with being genuine, be confident in what you do, because if you're confident in the things you're doing, you won't, make someone else feel insecure in the things they're doing. You will boost their confidence with your own. So, yeah. And having that type of mindset, especially having a bias, you just not contributing that much. And I'm not only just talking to, the listeners. I'm also talking to myself, because I even admitted to having my own biases within myself. So if I'm telling myself, oh, I have this feeling towards where I'm from and my last name and all of that things, I can't truly be the person that I'm presenting myself to be because of these limitations that I have on back home and my family. So it's also like, opening my mind to, the pros and the cons, the negativity, the positivity, and all of it,
Yeah. Yes. Now we get to be able to celebrate, people's similarities, but also their differences.
Yes, because we're all made the same way, but we're all very diverse. We're very different. And it's time that we actually take heed to that, because we celebrate diversity. We want to see diversity in everything.
That's right.
But we also have to just really stick to it, because you can't. I'm a curse, but you can't half-ass anything. This is life. You can't half-ass it. So if you're gonna say it, be about it. And being an advocate for mental health and everything else, I'm also, taking out my own advice, because I don't want to be a half-asser, and I don't want to encourage my listeners to be an half-asser either, because there's not getting nowhere with just doing it. Oh, this seems significant enough. Okay, no, you have to literally just be about it.
Yeah, and just be open and. Embrace all that life has to offer, with all that is good. This is our last episode of this semester.
This is the last episode of this semester. This is the end of season 1.
Yes.
We will be back spring semester for part 2.
Yes.
Yes.
You will be looking for special guests?
Yes, absolutely. There's a link in the bio. Please fill it out. Say your name, what you want to discuss, what time works best for you. And we will be glad to have you on board because, different perspectives are needed, and it's like, okay, yes, we definitely welcome it. We want to see how you think, how you feel, because on the flyer says your voice, your view matters, because it definitely does. And I know we haven't really have a lot of feedback from our viewers. So I would really suggest you guys to comment, DM us, let us know what you liked about one episode or what you wish we had said. Just this is the reason why I'm opening this podcast for our viewers, to have special guests so we can literally see if we're impacting you guys, or if you just want to say your own piece, and we welcome it. We're very free range right now. So definitely.
Yes. This is our platform as much as it is your platform.
Definitely, because it's for you. It's to have a safe space for you.
Yes. But we will definitely be back next semester. A lot more topics.
Oh, yes.
We got plenty of topics.
Oh, I already know. Coming in with a new year, new spring semester, our topic will really be addressing healthy habits and non-healthy habits, because what do we do every year? We try to do the New Year resolutions.
I can already see myself starting and then maybe
never
not
doing it. So, and that's a bad habit.
Yes, it is.
Trying to
need to talk about it.
Yeah, say you're gonna do something and never go through it. A commitment. Like a commitment. But yes, before we wrap up this last episode, I just want to thank everyone for following along with us thus far. I also want to thank you, Brandon, for being so supportive, and bringing that energy and that viewpoint from both a mental health counselor and also individual.
Yes.
So I just want to say thank you so much.
Wonderful doing this podcast with you thus far. I ain't going nowhere.
I'm glad. I'm glad for it.
we wanted to continue to talk about things that are important to you guys. We're going to discuss all aspects of topics, and we're going to continue going along this path of better living, having a better life, experiencing better emotions, and just becoming brand new.
Yes, absolutely brand new. And I just, this was just part 2 of biases in the minority community. So look out, because it might be 3.
There might be a part 3.
Yeah, it might be a part 3. Because, it's so much. It's so much. It's so broad, and it's sometimes you don't even know something's a bias until you just think back and whoa, okay. And some more things that you have to discuss. We only tap the surface, but it's really, really deep. So look out for part 3. But we did it two episodes in a row, so we won't keep going just yet.
We'll have a new topic.
Yeah, we have a little break in between, but just really be mindful. Look out for those around you. Look out for the ones that's looking out for you. And if those who seem like they can't look out for themselves, look out for them, please, because everyone needs a safe space, a supporter, a shoulder, just to be themselves, or just to cry, or however just to feel safe, basically. Absolutely. So just keep that in mind.
I agree.
Yeah.
I can't. You just said it the best. I wish you guys a happy winter break. Well deserved, well needed. Come back feeling restored and ready to go for the brand new year.
Yes.
Good luck with finals. Wrapping up the end of the semester. What we got? Up to 6 more days. Tomorrow's Friday. And then you got 1 more week if you have finals for that week. Best of luck to everyone.
Yes. You still want to say?
No, because I was about to say I'll see y'all next semester. It's time to go home.
Yes. Before I close out this episode. I just want to say thank you again. As
Yes.
always, I'm very so grateful. I want to say happy holidays, and I also want to give a special birthday shout out to my mentor, Miss Hicks.
Oh,
Happy birthday! Her birthday's on Monday.
Nice.
So because I'm also recording, I just want to say happy birthday to you, Miss Hicks. I'm so grateful for you because without you, this podcast wouldn't have came. Also without you. So I just want to give my, most loving
I'm getting my
thanks.
flowers.
You know,
today, y'all.
yes,
Love
you
it.
know,
Love it.
say thank you to everyone because we're doing it.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
This is just the beginning.
Just the beginning. Spring semester, I'm bringing it down.
Yep.
So
And watch out for the liveness. Too.
yes. We're gonna be live. We're gonna be live because I've been
about that.
Yes, I've been advocating. This is a live podcast, and we have not really been live, but we are recording live. Like literally right now, we're recording.
Yes. No edit. So
no edit, and
how
then
it is is how it is.
Yes, as soon as we're done, we post
Boom.
it. So it's kind of live, but not too much.
Yeah.
But we're gonna work on it. So just wait for us, because we gonna make this the best platform for you guys. This is all for you. To just have a better mental space, better emotional space, better spiritual, whether you are spiritual or religious. We're looking out for everyone,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Bringing you that good information.
Genuine love,
Yes.
my peoples.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
But a further ado, I would like to say, see you next time.
See you next year.
Yes. Have an amazing break. Like, just enjoy yourselves because we all deserve it.
Oh, yes, y'all.
So,
I really do. Y'all all deserve it.
Yes.
You guys did well.
yes.
Have
So,
a wonderful break.
hearts and kisses.
See you guys next year.